Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report, and I'm your host, Robert Jordan. Everyone, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys, one of the main reasons why I was a Trump supporter from the beginning was the fact that he had brought up inner city crime. He's the first presidential candidate that made an issue out of the crime that was going on in the inner city. Now, I'm from the inner city, so that meant a lot to me, and I know the damage that it's doing to us. And this was the first person who actually made an issue out of places like Chicago, when the last president was from Chicago and didn't say anything about it. But anyway, let me show you how Trump kept his word, because he is a man of his word. Homicides in Chicago dropped 45% after Operation Legend arrests. Trump sent the feds into Chicago and in all these inner cities, and he's putting these people in jail. And the crime rates are going down. How do we drive down violent crime? At one point in the not-so-distant past, America figured out the answer. Lock up violent criminals rather than releasing them. Chicago may have reinvented the wheel over the past month, as local law enforcement announced earlier today, homicides dropped by almost half in August and shootings declined by double digits. That is wonderful, people. That is good news. Homicides dropped by half in August and shootings declined by double digits. Now let me show you how they did that. And I'm going to show you a news clip too. Homicides and shootings reported last month in Chicago were down from a month ago, according to data collected. The 63 murders reported in August was a 45% decrease from July, while the number of shootings decreased by 15%, Chicago police said. The Sun-Times has also counted 63 homicides in August, bringing the total to 496 so far this year within the city limits. Last month, 481 people were shot, with at least 39 of them minors. Police Chief David Brown credited the department's two new citywide initiatives, Community Safe Team and Critical Incidents Response Team, for helping bring down the murder rate. That may be the case, but it's actually the feds that's doing this. Those were not only the changes to Chicago enforcement, however. In late July, the explosion of violence forced Mayor Lightfoot to start working with Donald Trump and the Department of Justice on restoring order in the Windy City. Look what Trump did, guys. Trump sent 150 or more federal law enforcement officers to Chicago as a part of Operation Legend, named after Legend Telefaro, who was killed in Kansas City. Within 2 days, feds made their first arrest in Chicago. Within 3 weeks, they had arrested more than 60 suspects in federal crimes. At least 61 people have been charged with federal crimes in Chicago under the new Operation Legend, which brought federal agents to the city in a plan to fight violent crime. People, it's usually just a handful of people that's doing all the shooting. Usually, if you just get the shooters, most of the killings go down. Attorney General Barr said those charged faced accusations related to firearms, narcotics, and bank fraud. The operation was launched in Kansas City in early July and was expanded to Chicago, Albuquerque, Cleveland, Detroit, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Memphis, and Indianapolis. So far, there have been more than 1,000 arrests across the cities, with the exception of Indianapolis. Of those, 217 have been charged with federal crimes. In Detroit, agents circled a motel that police officials said had been a hotbed for criminal activity for years. As the caravan pulled into the parking lot of the yellow building, Barr and Police Chief James Craig hovered overhead in a helicopter outfitted with special cameras to watch from the sky. 5 people were arrested, and the agent seized 3 ounces of coke, 1 ounce of fentanyl, and a handgun. Craig said the execution of the operation, and in some cases bringing federal charges, which generally result in stiffer penalties, will help drive down violent crime in Detroit and get so-called trigger pullers off the street. That's what Trump is doing in these cities, and we don't know anything about it because the news media is not telling us. I'm going to show you the local news clip. We're going to get out of here.
61 arrests under this new Operation Legend branding that the Justice Department came up with in July. Legend started in Kansas City this summer after the murder of a 4-year-old boy there, and that was where Attorney General Barr was today with a new progress report about the counter-violence plan.
One of the important developments of Legend has been the seizure of hundreds and hundreds of firearms in our Legend City.
This is some of the firepower found in Chicago during Operation Legend investigations, according to federal law enforcement. About half of the 61 people arrested here the past month are facing gun-related charges, including this man, according to the Justice Department, Nelson Perkins. When Chicago police arrested him for selling loose cigarettes in a currency exchange, they say he also had drugs for sale out of his backpack and a loaded pistol. Many arrests since the Legend initiative began are convicted felons found to be carrying guns when they were picked up for something else. This Chicago man, typical of that scenario. Ramon Samuels, with gun and drug violations going back to 2004, according to court records, arrested 2 weeks ago after a traffic stop and foot chase, according to federal agents, running away with a .40 caliber Glock. And the feds say it was a similar story with this man, Deshaun Bailey, whose criminal history here starts in 1999. Bailey arrested in early August and charged as a felon in possession of a 9mm pistol after a West Side shooting.
So far, federal state task forces involved in Operation Legend have made almost 1,500 arrests. I think it's 1,485 to be precise. And many of those arrests are for violent state crimes, including 90 homicides.
The Attorney General once again took a jab at local prosecutors across the country for prematurely releasing criminal arrestees on bond only to see them back out committing crimes. He noted that federal prosecutors have more tools to keep violent offenders locked up longer while awaiting trial, and then once convicted, he says sentences can be longer as well.
Hey, if you like that video.
Okay, guys, that's why I supported Trump, because Trump is a man of his word.